Our Across the Aisle segment tonight, liberals have found another reason to oppose President Trump's border wall. Get this. Birds and bats, they say. Birds and bats may not be able to fly over the wall. That's right. They're more concerned with the well-being of bats than they are about the victims of sanctuary city violence. What is wrong with liberals? You got to see this one.
And we've got over 100 migratory birds that will be impacted from this wall.
The birds specifically, wouldn't they just be able to fly over the wall?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, and it's actually an excellent question. And certainly many animals that fly can migrate over that wall. But many animals actually stay very low. Many of these animals, for example, birds and bats, are actually passing close to the ground surface because they're heading towards plants for pollination or seeds that they eat or fruits.
With me now, former Georgia State Representative, Democratic strategist LaDon Jones. Representative Jones, good to see you.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hard not to laugh watching that video, LaDon, but I gotta say, we kind of knew it would get to this point eventually, that animals would have more rights than people if the animal rights activists got their way. I mean, the fine for breaking a bald eagle egg can be up to $250,000, yet the fine for exterminating the young of humans, nothing. That's perfectly legal. And then this wall. Representative Jones, this wall, criminals are given more consideration than the victims of the crimes that happen in sanctuary cities committed by people who are here illegally in the first place. I do not understand the liberal mindset on this.
Well, you know, what this is, Liz, is our party trying to make sure that you understand the depth of President Trump's decisions to build this wall. We've tried to appeal to the heart of the fact that this is not going to help decrease any of the immigration. We've tried to appeal to the fact that farmers in California and other places are having to raise their prices because they can't get the type of work that they need to complete the jobs, and American workers won't take them. But at the very least, we thought maybe we can appeal to the hearts and the minds of people who care about animals and the animal activists. The environment is an important issue that Democrats have long been the leaders of, and we have to, as silly as it may sound, take this quite seriously.
Right, and there's no argument there. I mean, I actually think that from the left, the argument that Republicans don't care about the environment is ridiculous. I don't know anybody, Republican or Democrat, political stripe aside, who doesn't want to take care of the environment. I think that's a false narrative that's been made up. But Representative Jones, when you talk about appealing to the hearts and minds of people, I mean, there is a lot of crime that happens. A lot of crime that happens because of illegal immigration. There's a lot of good that happens because of legal immigration, but a lot of crime, a lot of victims, a lot of lives that are ended or maimed or what have you, damaged because of the crime that is brought across our border. Don't you care about that?
I care equally as much about that false narrative as I care about the crime that is caused by American citizens every day, which far outweighs any crime that may occur by someone who is not from this country. But also, what's more important
wait. I want to talk about the crime rate. I want to talk about the crime rate because we need to figure out a system. We need to figure out a system where we have a great big wall that keeps the people out who are going to come here to commit crimes, and it has a great big door in the great big wall so that people can come in who want to bring the best of who they are to our country. We want to be able to have as much legal immigration as possible, but in order to do that, we have to keep the crime out. Representative Jones, of our population here in our country, it's 3.5% illegal immigrants, 3.5%, yet the crime rate for illegal immigrants is 13.6% of federal crimes. That's hugely disproportionate.
That's hugely disproportionate. You know what else is disproportionate? The number of illegal immigrants that come into America by crossing the border versus those who come by air. And so although putting up a wall may be an intent to try to stop crime, it's actually quite unfounded because it's likely not going to have the big effect that you may think that it is. Or it's those people like President Trump's wife that overstay their visas and overstay their ability to stay in the country that may be part of the solution. Here's what we're talking about. Anytime you change a law or change a policy, it's like a spider web. If you shake something over here, it jingles something over there. Well, that includes our environment. So the reason why this is being brought up is not to say we don't care about crime, but to say even in an attempt to curb crime, what you're going to do is affect the environment, which will eventually affect the people who live near the border, which will eventually affect the economy. And if all of this is supposed to be about the economy, in addition to killing our relationship with Mexico, you're going to kill the environment and the cacti too? Let's be a little bit smarter.
No, I mean, to be honest, with all due respect, that's absurd. I mean, we're talking about crime here. It's the Democrats who are shaking the proverbial bell over here, talking about the birds. No one wants to kill the birds. That's not really the topic we're talking about. Well, who else we don't want to kill here is people. Let me share with you these statistics. I want to hear what you say. Almost 50% of federal crimes in our country in 2014 were committed near the Mexican border, in the border states of California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. 61,529 criminal cases initiated by federal prosecutors, again in 2014. Of that 61,000, 24,000 of them were filed in the districts near the Mexican border. 75% of federal drug sentences in 2004 were illegal immigrants. I mean, you can't deny the fact that illegal immigrants do bring crime. There are a lot of them that don't, but a lot of them bring crime, especially in these border states.
That may be the case, but you and the Republicans still have to show that the crime is being caused by people who crossed over that border and is being caused by is going to be stopped by the border wall being put up. That has not yet to be shown. Yes, the crime may be there, but we also know that the higher number of populations of people with immigrant backgrounds are also in those areas. We also know that federal law also handles more immigration matters. Most other criminal and similar matters that may be handled by Americans are handled at the state and local levels. And so those distinctions are important when you take those.
Right. But maybe you didn't hear it. Maybe you didn't hear clearly what the statistic was. Drug crimes. We know drug traffickers cross our border. We know they use tunnels. We read on the news, see on the news when these tunnels are busted. We know that they, get across the border because right now we don't have a wall there. 75% of federal drug sentences in 2014 were illegal immigrants. I mean, there's a correlation. Is that not enough?
Well, the correlation that you're missing, however, because I defend both federal and state drug crimes. And the difference is many times those crimes are put together because of their illegal immigration status, versus those same crimes that were handled by an American would then be sent over to the state and local authorities to handle. That is the big difference.
But the crime has still been committed. I mean, the crime is the crime is the crime. These people committed a crime. These people were in our country illegally. They committed a crime. I mean, that is correlated to the fact that our borders are not secure. It's not all these people just constantly coming in on visas and overstaying their welcome. Many of these people cross our border illegally. I mean, you can look at the U.S. Customs and Border Control website to see the exact numbers. This is not something that I've pulled out of the hat. This is not something that's a conservative talking point. This is something that comes from our federal government themselves. They say it's a problem. It's not just under President Trump. This was something U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said under President Obama as well. A lot of drug traffickers, a lot of criminals come across the border. They go back and forth to commit their crimes and get away. We need to stop that.
Well, as has been mentioned several times by conservatives, President Obama had a higher number of deportations for illegal immigrants than presidents before him. And so what that says to us is that there are other things that can be done to address any illegal immigrant criminal problem. What I have concern about is that we overemphasize the illegal immigrant criminal problem and underemphasize all of the illegal immigrants who are doing what they want to do just to protect their families. That's where the conversation gets thrown off. And so we can't seriously talk about a wall, whether it's good or it's not, unless we look at the whole picture. That includes the environment, that includes safety, that includes what effect it will have on the economy of our country. Because right now, the proposal that President Trump is putting forward for this wall has all negative effects on those things and no positive effects.
Right, but the positive effects might be the 12% of murders in the United States that are committed by illegal immigrants, the 16% of drug trafficking convictions in the United States committed by illegal immigrants. That might go down. Girls like Kate Steinle up in San Francisco, a sanctuary city, she might still be alive. That's what happened under President Obama. These sanctuary cities burgeoned up because all these people were in the United States illegally. They committed crimes. Local law enforcement agencies wouldn't cooperate with federal immigration authorities, and crimes were committed. The American people were put at risk. If that doesn't give a bad name to separating the difference between criminal illegal aliens and otherwise law-abiding immigrants, I don't know what would, and I don't understand why Democrats don't recognize that.
No, we definitely do want a separation. The problem is that there is an overemphasis and over messaging as if anyone who is of Mexican descent, which many of our illegal immigrants are not only from Mexico, which is a very important thing. Many of them, although they may be Spanish speaking, are from Central America.
Right. Nobody said anything about them being Mexican citizens, being from Mexico. I said crossing the border illegally.
But either way, there's an overemphasis in the criminal element and not enough emphasis on solving the overall arching problem. And Democrats will continue to try to throw things at President Trump to hopefully make him look at the other alternatives to continue to keep our relationship with Mexico, which is vitally important. If he wants to stop criminals from coming over here, helping to ensure that the Mexican economy, as well as the American economy through NAFTA and other projects, is a better way to go than throwing up a wall that, as you mentioned, there are tunnels going under them. There are people flying over them. They're coming over on boats. That wall is not going to do very much but spend a whole lot.
But not birds. No birds flying over. Don't forget that part. Representative Jones, thanks for being here. It's great to talk to you. All right.